Hello, and welcome to We Built This White Lake. My name is Amy Van Loon, Executive Director of the White Lake Area Chamber of Commerce, and we are your hosts to We Built This. Today in our podcast studio, we have Dave Rypma, co-owner of Rypma Chevrolet GMC. And welcome, Dave. Great to have you with us. And so thanks a lot for coming in. We Built This as a series of podcasts that we will be interviewing business owners and different companies in Montague and Whitehall that have a story to tell. And without a doubt, Don Rypma, Chevrolet GMC, has a story to tell. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about your business and what you guys do.
Well, the dealership started in 1970. My father owned a gas station in Grand Rapids. He ended up selling a gas station because he sold used cars out of there. He wanted his own used car lot, so he went downtown Grand Rapids. He always wanted to have a new car dealership. So in 1970, he bought Carpenter Chevy Olds and actually signed the paperwork on Friday the 13th in 1970.
Wow.
He took the whole family, all 6 kids, to Whitehall. We had no idea where Whitehall was. Then my father passed away last year, and my brother Harlan and I took over the business, and we're co-owners of the dealership now.
Awesome. All right. Tell us a little bit about how it all started, how it all began. You did already, but you touched on some of those, but keep going forward with your story.
Okay. In 1970, when we bought the dealership, there was one salesman, there was one parts and service manager and 2 mechanics and 1 office manager. And now we've increased the employees to 25 employees. And we've got, honestly can say, we've got dedicated employees, integrity employees. We've got employees that have been there for over 25 years. And I can honestly say without those employees, we would not have been in business for 53 years.
Has it always been in that location where you are now?
We bought it was in that location, but actually it used to be downtown Whitehall, and it was moved out there in 1966.
Okay. What are some of the biggest hurdles that, you look back in 1970 and today, what do you think are some of those biggest accomplishments or things that you've overcome?
Well, we bought it in 1970, and then September of 1970, GM had the biggest strike they ever had, so we couldn't get any parts, we couldn't get cars, so we were kind of stuck in that. And then later, in late 70s, they had a parts strike, and I remember when I was in college driving all the way to Flint to pick up parts so we could repair cars. And then they had the tire strike, so cars were being shipped without spare tires, and I can remember our showroom being full of spare tires when they finally came off strike to put back in customers' cars. And it's been a long road. We bought out Pontiac, Buick, GMC, and moved it to our location. And so we had a Geo franchise, so we increased the business. But some of the hurdles we had was Oldsmobile went out of business, Pontiac went out of business, Geo went out of business, and Buick just is downsizing, so we just lost Buick. So we went from 5 franchises down to 2.
More recently, too, even with the pandemic, I'm sure that, influenced that car industry. What did you experience during that time?
Well, the pandemic was hard because when it first hit, we were not allowed to even sell a car. We could service cars, but obviously no one was going out, so service was down. People weren't driving anymore. Cars, we couldn't even receive cars. We couldn't sell cars. So, yeah, it kind of slowed us down for at least 2 years. And we had no inventory. We couldn't get anything. Mm-hmm. All the strikes that were going on, cars couldn't be built because parts weren't available.
Kind of a family business also, with your dad starting it and with you and your brother. And the car industry, too, is just such a curious industry, the ebbs and flows of it.
It has its ups and downs, yes.
Sure.
My brother and I are the only 2 siblings that stuck with the business.
Okay.
And
all right.
I can honestly say my brother and I have worked full-time there for 53 years. It's the only job we've ever had.
Wow. Yeah, that's what you know. That's what you live and breathe.
Yep.
What would you say are some of the biggest victories, that you have, that you can really say, wow, this we overcame?
Well, I think it was a loss of all those franchises, and I believe that kind of hurt us. The pandemic hurt us, and we got over it all. And we've had dedicated employees when the pandemic hit. None of them quit, none of them left, so that helped us. So thankful to all our employees for actually keeping us in business.
I know that Don Rypma is been a huge community supporter also, and you're a big deal in in our town. It's somewhat of an iconic landmark, where you're located.
Been here a long time.
Yeah, yep, and it shows.
Yeah. When we started out there on Whitehall Road, there was no other neighbors, there was no other movie theaters, there was no businesses out there but us.
Yeah. And very, location. We see it, the location off the highway there.
Good location.
It is, yeah, great location. And customer service we hear across the board is excellent with
we've got very.
business.
That's what I say. We got awards from General Motors for customer service. And
wow.
Yeah, it's been good to us.
Yeah, excellent. How do you feel that Don Rypma Chevrolet GMC has mostly impacted the community?
Well, honestly, we try to do everything we possibly can. We do as much as we can for Whitehall and Montague High School, both high schools. We do White Lake Little League sports as much as we get involved with that by sponsoring teams. We do the Athena Award. There are many things we do. We try to help out the chamber with the parades and the Rotary. Yeah. Anything we can possibly get involved in, we try to do to help the community out because they've been good to us. Yeah,
I agree. I think that's a big deal. Seems like there's little touches here and there that we see Don Rypma's logo on with sponsorships and helping those that are in need of some financial support with those sponsorships, anything from schools to community events. So anything else that you'd like to share with us and our listeners?
Well, like I say, we always try to support as much as we can. The FFA and the DECA we've been supporting, and we're just, it's enjoyable to do it with the customers. We get excited when a customer buys a new car. We love to see that when they're excited, and we always rally around our employees and say, when a customer buys a car, you be excited too, because it's the second largest purchase they're ever going to make in their life. So it's a big deal.
And some of those social media posts reflect that. So if any of our viewers or listeners are on social media, be sure to follow and like Don Rypma Chevrolet GMC as they post things and share with our community. So thank you so much for coming in and just giving us a little glimpse into the world of the car industry as well as Don Rypma. Any parting message?
Well, I'd like to thank the community for supporting us for these years. God has blessed us for the last 53 years, have had helped us with the employees that we have that have been dedicated to us, that have helped us out and brought us through. And I can honestly say, after you work together so long, like I said, we've had more than 4 of them that have been there for over 25 years. You almost become like family. Yeah.
And there again, even become family with your customers, too.
Yeah, you get to know them on a one-on-one basis. Mm-hmm. And what I really like is when we sell a vehicle, I can walk anywhere in Whitehall, any restaurant, any place, and they can say to me, that's the guy I bought my car from, or that's the guy that serviced, not that that's the guy that took advantage of me. So that's why we're proud to, like they say, honest and fair, just to make sure that we try to keep everybody happy.
Yeah. Well, keep up the good work.
Well, thank you.
We're really proud of the business there. And thank you so much for joining in our episode of We Built This. We look forward to seeing you next time.
Well, thank you very much.